Good evening and welcome to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports. We are husky, middle aged men, and we're here to talk Baltimore sports, whether it's Terps, Ravens, or Orioles, and more. Baltimore's best sports talk show starts now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to us this evening, or if you're listening again on your commute to work or your summer vacation, whatever you may be doing. Mike, you have a treat for everyone. You have a little item there.
I'm making it rain right now, Jason. We've got dad bod, crab cakes, and sports koozies that are created and out there in the open world now that I'm going to be sharing with people around town. And I'll send some down to you guys in Florida. Start passing out to your buddies. They got our beautiful logo on the front and the QR code to our Apple Podcasts on the back so that we can spread the good word about Baltimore sports far and wide, like I say at the end of every episode.
Fabulous. Wait, did you say like put the drinks in there so that you pass out eventually from consuming
Yeah,
the?
this is how it works. I got a hazy IPA in there right now, and it just
Oh,
nestles into the koozie. Don't try to scan the koozie when it's rounded. When it's square, it's better. But it definitely keeps the beer cold. I've had it in here for about 20 minutes, and it's still nice and chilly.
oh, look at that. That is just fantastic. And we're off. Awesome. All right, Jimmy is once again here with us. He is the guest that will never go away.
Yeah.
But again, he is here for a fantastic evening to go over our normal Orioles. We're not going to really talk Ravens much, but some NFL news. We're also going to touch on what went down at the Belmont Steaks at Saratoga. We're going to play our fun games this evening and all of that, maybe some surprises. So, John, what's been going on in your world lately?
Well, I got a promotion at work.
We're going to pay you now?
Yes, exactly. They're gonna pay me. It doesn't really suck. It kind of does suck though, because now I go from wearing a polo shirt and like golf pants to having to wear a tie and a jacket and slacks with dress shoes. So I go from selling Ford to selling Lincoln, Ford, and used cars and doing the financing. So they saw it fit that after a month of selling Fords, they already wanted me out of the Ford dealer, sending me over to Lincoln for high priced luxury automobiles.
Oh, fantastic. Look at you. Very
When I
proud.
look at you, John, I think fancy, and now that makes a lot of sense.
Huh. I mean, there's a lot of things I think of, and that's not one of them, Mike. But I mean, that's fine. I fully support your thoughts and
Well,
opinions.
Jason, you've known me for almost 30 years. Mike's
Mhm.
known me for 30 days.
Right,
Jim
right,
for
right,
30
right.
minutes. So
Well done. All right, Jim, what's going on in your world? What new exciting things are you and the dog conjuring up over there?
I went golfing in the rain today. That was fun. Made it through 15 holes. Uh, so that was the eventful part of my weekend. Um, but yeah, golfing in the rain.
Golfing in the rain. That's outstanding. And Michael, what about you besides creating koozies and fantastic fun?
I did. I golfed in the rain yesterday morning, and actually, we had a wedding last night. I haven't been to a wedding in maybe 2 or 3 years. I feel like we have gotten through that phase of our lives where most of our friends have, for the most part, gotten married. So if it's a wedding now, it's somebody who is getting remarried or different type of circumstance than the usual. But a friend of mine, one of my assistant soccer coach's daughter, got married, and actually had taught the son or the groom, excuse me, who got married in weight training class. But it was a good wedding. I realize now I'm part of the old people tables. When you used to get up and party and dance and all that kind of stuff, and now Julie and I were looking at each other like, man, these kids are like 22, 23. Like, I don't want to get out there and make a fool of myself, so let's just chill. So I realize that we've graduated that phase of my life.
And I can't even tell you the last wedding I went to. Good Lord. And I don't see any on the horizon either, I don't think.
my cousin
That's
got married
crazy.
today. I was supposed to go up to Ohio, but because of the new job and things, I couldn't. I
Hmm.
couldn't attend her wedding today. But that's where I had to drop my mom off at the airport at 3 a.m. this morning in Tampa.
Oh God, that sounds terrible. Why so
Oh, it was
early?
awful. Well, because her flight was at 5:30 because she had to meet my dad at the airport in Detroit to drive down to Ohio.
Oh God, that's insane.
Oh, it was
Terrible.
terrible. But there was nobody on the road. So I-4 was clear as the day. I was going 80 or 90 all the way there. Didn't see a state trooper at all.
Well, even though it is our rainy season officially here, it has not really rained yet much here, other than like once or twice a week or so. So I went to the beach today, 90 plus degrees. As you can see, I am sunburned, quite sunburned,
Oh boy.
but it was outstanding and fun.
That saltwater therapy will really help you out.
Tell me about it. All right. Well, I guess we should kick things off. I mean, we should talk some O's. So I did get this.
Oh,
I got
you
this
hit a home run.
here pirate Homer hat.
The Jack
So,
Sparrow, the Jack Sparrow right there.
Mhm. Well, I was pretty excited. I was gonna get a I still might do it, but I was gonna bring the Homer hose on with me and do Homer hose things with you, but we didn't win today. So because we didn't win, I had a feeling we weren't gonna win today, so I didn't do it. But yes, I am wearing the pirate hat for the Orioles, even though they didn't win today and they didn't win the series. The road trip were 4 for 2 on the road trip, and I guess it's down to 7-2 over their last 9 games over the last 3 series. So I mean, say what you must. Out of the worst team, or the second worst team out of that group is the one they lost the series to. They beat the first place team, and they beat the worst team in baseball besides the Rockies. So, I mean, a lot of, if you look at the lineup, you look at things are turning up for me, Mike, just because the guys are coming off the injured list. Westbrook should be back this week. O'Neill should be back this week. And then maybe we can see what the team was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see them go on a little bit of a run, and I just be excited to watch Orioles baseball again and know that I think the biggest thing is that they were able to come from behind in a couple of those games to win, because I feel like if we've gotten down at all this year, the game's been pretty much over. But the other day when they went down like 4-1 or whatever, I was a little bit worried, or 3-1, I think, and they came back to win. Super exciting. People will point to Cowser coming back and make that probably like the biggest deal, but I think it's just a bunch of different things. Cowser's part of it, but it's Cowser, it's the pitching, it's confidence in the lineup, it's hitting up and down the lineup in different points in time. You see Laureano got a big hit the other day. Cowser's, Adley's coming around, Jackson Holliday's staying hot, and you're just seeing different guys hit at different times, where the whole lineup seemed like it was slumping at one point in time. We just had a couple bats heating up, a few weeks ago, and now everybody's kind of starting to heat up a little bit at the same time, which is exciting to see as an O's fan. Pump the brakes a little bit, and we're not going to go 7-2 in every 9-game stretch that we have. But if we can play 550 to 600 ball here and tread water and get back close to 500, I think as the All-Star break and trade deadline come around, I'm a happy camper with how the O's are playing.
Yeah, and it was a little concerning on Friday night because I believe they left was it 9 runners on base? And to me, that's a tough stat because it's kind of going back to where when they were struggling this year, leaving a lot of guys on base, not being able to hit with runners in scoring position. Cowser's kind of hit the ground running. But if you notice, what I've noticed with Cowser too, and Jackson Holliday, but more Cowser, he had like a 30% swing and miss rate last year. And he is not striking out very much. Now, granted, I don't know what happened today, but since he's come back, I haven't seen a lot of swing and missing. And with Jackson Holliday, I mean, that strikeout rate's got to be down big time as well. So good things as far as that goes. But Jim, what I'm excited about is, yes, I'm very excited that Colton Cowser's there. But when you bring one guy in like that, it really, what it can do is it can take other guys that shouldn't be in certain positions out of that position. Like Jorge Mateo is not playing center field anymore. And it allows you to have a much stronger defense, but also solidifies that offense. So for me, I mean, I do point to it and like, it's even more exciting for me when Westberg and O'Neill come back, because then it really gets rid of some of the guys that maybe shouldn't be in there full time.
Yeah, I think some of those guys you could tell, like Godley, Gunner, Jackson, they were all like feeling the pressure, feeling a lot of weight on their shoulders to carry the team. Now that they're getting some of those familiar faces back, I mean, it reminds me when I got injured in softball and I came back and we won the championship that year. Remember, guys?
Woo!
Remember that happened? No, I think it's nice. It is nice. It's they're fun to watch again. Hopefully the pitching can stay strong. That's a big hope. And when I start sucking at golf, I go play at Fox Hollow because I know I'll always shoot in the 80s. So it's nice to get confidence back. And so that's basically what they went out and did. They played a bunch of Fox Hollows, Chicago and Oakland and a bunch of crappy teams. Hopefully they get this momentum, get this confidence, can bring it back home and play this way against better teams.
Yeah, I am concerned that the Tigers are one of the best teams in baseball right now. They might be, outside of the Dodgers, the best team in baseball, especially record-wise. So, John, like what momentum they had, I mean, I don't think just losing the series in Oakland takes away any of the momentum because they're still doing a lot of really good things. So, I mean, I don't have a prediction yet. We'll get to that later. But, I mean, Detroit's no joke. So, how do you see them going into this series? Okay. I think John's muted. John, you want to?
There we go. I
Hi,
unmuted
John.
myself. Yeah,
Welcome.
I had to get my sword to go with your hat.
Shouldn't I have the sword?
You should, but you live a little ways away from me, so maybe I'll drop it off at your house next time I go to the Tampa airport. That'll be good. But no, I think Huh? No, it's a good. It'll match your hat. It'll be good. It'll be good.
We have a pirate on our team. I didn't know we had a pirate on our team.
Pirate on our
Steve?
But I don't want to be a pirate.
Arr.
So I think with how this pitching staff is working and the way the bats are going, I think that we're gonna run into a little bit of problems with the Tigers because, like you said, they're hot. But again, today we got over 3 innings out of our bullpen with 1 earned run. And so I think, some of these questions we had about our starting pitching today, Sagano only gave up 3 earned runs. Some of these questions that we were having early on in the season with starting pitching and then getting to the bullpen too early. And then we're not getting any hits. We're not getting any hits with runners in scoring position. I think some of these things are starting to work themselves out. And I think, our starters are getting quality starts and the bullpen is holding up their end. Now can we string together, 13 out of 20? Can we string together 20 out of 30? Can we put this all together throughout the season? And that still, I think, remains to be seen once we get guys back. And then, as we talk about the trade deadline and as we talk about, okay, who are they going to deal? Are they going to be buying anything? Are they going to be selling? What are we going to be doing? But I think we'll see what the starting pitching is against the Tigers, and we'll see how the bats are going to do. I didn't see who we were facing starting pitching wise against the Tigers, but depending on who it is, that could really show us and put on the big boy pants and have to hit some big boy starting pitching.
Yeah, and I mean Tigers can pitch, they can hit. I mean they're a pretty complete team so far. I mean, still a long way to go. But Mike, when you look at the next 2 series, it's Detroit for 3, it's the Angels for 3. The Angels don't scare me. I'm not really concerned. I don't know what we'll get, but they are playing a little better than when we ran into them last time. So I guess the series starts on Tuesday. I mean, what is your best, realistic case scenario out of the next 6 games?
Well, I think if you look at the Tigers starting pitchers coming up, they have Mize and Skubal going in that series. So they're both pitching super. So to get 2 out of 3 would be fantastic, in a home series versus Detroit. I think that's the ceiling in that series. So if we could get that, I'd be super excited. I mean, I'd love to say we could sweep the Angels, but again, 2 out of 3. You just keep winning 2 out of 3 you got to catch up from those 1 out of 3s you had early on in the season. You got to get back to, like I said, treading water. I guess the one thing that kind of scares me, the infield defense was a little suspect today. I didn't love the infield defense with Emmanuel Rivera playing first base. That's a ball that Mountcastle and O'Hearn gets to. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd inning that they scored their runs. And then there was another ball that Gunnar had a double play chance on and kind of tried to backhand it and get cute to turn 2. Didn't get anybody out. And that's the inning where they scored most of their runs. So I just, I know that they have to give these guys a break, but I just wish they would do it in a way where our defense remains solid versus kind of doing it in a way where we're just getting certain bats in the lineup. So I guess that's my only ask of Mansolino is to just really be defensive first oriented, especially when thinking about giving these guys rest days.
Yeah, and I think I am noticing that O'Hearn might be cooling off a bit at the bat, but he's still our best defensive first baseman given what's left. Although what I noticed since over the last couple games, have been very impressed by Kobe Mayo's defensive first base. I didn't know what to expect, but I mean, whenever you go from being come up as an infielder, whether like all these guys probably at some point played short, they didn't catch, they played shortstop, right? So either shortstop, third base, and then you go over to first. I mean, I'm very impressed. So, I mean, Jim, the problem with Kobe is it's like he's starting to hit a little bit, but if you want his glove out there, what do you I mean, if it's me, I'm putting him in the lineup every day over someone like Emmanuel Rivera at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see what he has. I mean, I don't think there's another position for him. I mean, can he play third? I mean, we want him on this team. If we want him to contribute, he can't just be a DH at this age. In my opinion, he has to step up in the position. First base makes the most sense. So yeah, try him there. I definitely would. I mean, let's see. Jackson Holiday has 30 errors in the season. Is that right? And
30 errors?
Gunnar Henderson has 16. Is that right?
Are you sure that wasn't last year? No way.
30 seems like a lot.
Hold on.
Jackson Holiday has 30 errors.
Did you get John's ChatGPT research? What's going on here?
It might be.
That's what it's sounding like. Let's see.
I was trying to look it up because my main thing was I never thought Gunnar was shortstop. I've always thought he was our future third baseman. And I know we talked about this, but
okay, no. Holiday has 4 errors. Gunnar Henderson has 5.
Yeah.
Mateo has 6, and then everybody else.
Probably mostly in the outfield.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is ridiculous.
And Jason, to your point about Mayo, I thought he looked good on ground balls at first base. He looks quick. He looks athletic. That one pop up down the first baseline over his head, he kind of missed that one. But that's a tough play probably for anybody. I mean, it was sucked that happened at that point in the game, and kind of the extra out kind of cost us. But like these things happen with young players. But he did look comfortable, I thought. Yeah,
and I mean, kind of to Jim's point too. Like, I mean, there's no reason, even at this point with guys out, that he needs to play third base. I mean, Urias can handle third base. Westberg comes back. He can play third base. I mean, to be honest with you right now, with the way things are going, I mean, I would DH Urias if I had to, keep his bat in the lineup a little bit, mix him in and out with Kjerstad, because Kjerstad, someone should take his glove and it should disappear. It should accidentally disappear for a very long time.
Kindling. Yeah.
Who was it? Jobaldo Jimenez accidentally twisted his ankle in the parking lot. Oops. Stepped on something. Let's have that, but with a glove. So
I remember the other night, Jason, you were texting about getting him into pitch hit, and it was like they brought in Mason Miller. It was like, oh boy, no.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to happen. Like, I kind of forgot who was there. I mean, it's why I wanted Gunnar to hit for Mateo the inning before, or 2 innings, whatever it was. I'm like, just hit him here. Like, who cares if it's a lefty? And they would have countered with a lefty, but I would have taken it, like, over Mateo. Like, oh, come on,
he's your best hitter. I agree with you. Yep.
So let me ask you guys. So Westberg, I mean, if if he's not up by Tuesday, I'll be surprised. Since it's a homestand, it'll be a lot easier. They weren't going to fly him out to Seattle, but he's about ready to go, from what I understand. So, what is the corresponding move, Mike? Do you have an opinion on
Yeah,
that? Or what you
I mean, I think Emmanuel Rivera is the guy who's got to go. I mean, if he's not, he has not been hot with the bat. The only reason he was staying around is because he was so hot with the bat whenever he came up. Defensively, he's okay. The only thing he gives you really is positional versatility, I guess. But there's a lot of guys in this, in this roster that can do that for you. Mateo, he looks smooth at shortstop again. I still love him there at shortstop. I think he plays an excellent shortstop, if anything. But he does not belong in the outfield unless you have to, obviously. So, I mean, what do you guys think, John?
Yeah, I think that's really the only move they can make. Is I think I see Gary Sanchez was close to coming back, which then they would potentially either move Handley back down, or I don't even know if you keep Sanchez on the roster. You try to just DFA him, or you get rid of him, because you kind of have a log jam in that backup catcher's room there. Because with the way Basayo's playing down at AAA, I think you're going to have to bring him up at some point in time. So, I think maybe they just get rid of Sanchez. But I think, Mike, I think that's the only move. We can't keep again every time we talk about the same thing. We got to get Mayo at bats. We got to get Kirstead at bats. Blah blah blah. We can't be sending those guys back down. They got to stay up here, and we got to find something else for Kirstead to do but play right field. I mean, like he looks.
What was that?
Well, who wants him though?
Pitch?
Who wants
Oh,
him,
I know.
What was that mysterious voice?
outfield? He can't. He looks like my little league team.
If you trade them, they will come.
I mean, is that what you think too, Jim? Real quick, and then we'll get into this mysterious voice that I just heard somewhere. Do you think it's Rivera's the move, the corresponding move?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
me as well. But I will tell you, then the other one that comes up, because it's funny you should say that, is I almost said Paul O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill. I would love Paul O'Neill. Even now. I'll take him now.
At 55 years old, I'll take him right now.
Absolutely. Doesn't matter. Bring him on. No. Whoever. Sure. Shaquille O'Neal. At this point, let's throw it all out there. But with Tyler O'Neill coming up, to me, I mean, I know people were going to say the Mateo thing. I think it's Kirstead. And Jim, I wonder if there's a thing to this. So maybe they do send him down. He works on a few things without his glove. He doesn't need that. And then he starts to get hot again. He starts to work on some things. And then you can look to trade him. Because right now, there's always going to be somebody out there that says, I can turn this guy around, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think any of the other teams were ever going to take. If the Orioles didn't take him 2 overall, I'm not so sure anybody else would have taken him anytime soon either.
They didn't do that with, I mean, they didn't do that with Mayo. I was hoping that was why. I mean, I was hoping that would be the case. I agree with you. I mean, send him down there, let him get the rust off, or confidence back, more or less, and then trade him if that's what they're trying to do. Like here, this guy's got talent. Maybe he just needs a fresh start.
Now, the only thing you have to be careful with is, I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't think Tyler O'Neill's all of a sudden going to turn it around and have the same season he did last year. But I mean, he could definitely turn it around and do better, but he can opt into that contract, and I'm not sure they can do anything about it. So unless they come to some sort of agreement there, then what do you do? I mean, are you willing to get rid of Kirstead now for what I'm going to say it would bring back, Mike, unless something happens in the next few weeks and he starts improving? I mean, you're looking at a marginal pitcher. I don't think he brings back what you would want.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, he's almost more of a supplementary piece. I don't think you can even maybe build a deal around him at this point. You might be able to. You might find some team who thinks, like you said, they could be a reclamation project. But I think you're right. If you look at Holiday. He needed to go back down a little bit, work on some things. Mayo went back down earlier this season, worked on some things. When you come up right away, that's some bright lights. I know Kirstead's had a couple opportunities, but I think give him a chance down there. Maybe let him get his swing back, get his confidence back, And what it also does, it allows you to play Tyler O'Neill a little bit, and maybe he becomes a trade piece at the deadline with a couple years of control. It's not a horrible idea. Maybe if you don't think O'Neill is part of our future in the Orioles organization, why can't you turn that veteran bat around if he gets hot a little bit here over the next month of July, maybe, and you go that direction with it? Just a thought.
I just don't want him trading these guys for another Trevor Rogers. I want a Garrett Crochet, and I wanted him in the offseason. That's who I want. We might not be able to get that at the trade deadline. We might have to wait till next season. But they should definitely make moves. They should have made moves this year. Now we're left with way too many position players, not enough pitching. They're very young. We're very youthful. We got hurt vets that are playing exactly the way we thought. Whether O'Neill comes back or not, he's not the guy we need to spark the team. I think Cowser offers a great spark to the team. I knew he would. I mean, I think that's going to give him some confidence. But if the pitching if we can't beef it up somehow, then this season's a waste.
Yeah, but the unfortunate part is, like, any team that's going to contend that would want any players that could help them get over the hump isn't giving up any pitching that's ready to go now. So unless it's their top prospect, and we talked about this before, I'm not interested in some single A, potentially even a guy that's about to crack double A. Like, he has to have some sort of track record and ready to come up here within the next year. Otherwise, we're just wasting more time. But I mean, I'm willing to come off of any of these guys at this point. Tyler O'Neill, Mike, I didn't even think about that one. For some reason, that one just jumped right over my head. But that would be one that I would absolutely, regardless of how things are going, unless he's batting like 400 over like a month span with multiple home runs here. I mean, I think somebody would take him on the bench, but I don't know what you'll get for him. But it is something that I think they would look, because they could get out from underneath that contract that he's going to opt in on.
Yeah, and I mean, Jimmy, I'm with you, man, about the pitching. I've been banging on the pitching drum forever. You look at a guy like, I mean, I know this is a pipe dream probably, but like Paul Skeens has a 2 ERA and can't get a win to save his life in Pittsburgh because those guys can't hit worth a lick. So, I mean, I'd be willing to give up Basayo, Mayo, Kerstead, and whatever else you can find on the farm for that guy. So, I mean, why can't you be a little bit proactive and try to think ahead? This year is a wash. This is the kind of year where you do something like that and maybe make a move for the future. Now, Corbin Burns it was announced, right, as having Tommy John surgery, right? So the pitching thing is scary sometimes. Jason, you talk about that all the time. But that kind of ace on your staff, man, you just don't find those every day.
You just mentioned 3 significant everyday baseball players for a pitcher who has not had major arm surgery yet.
He's so good at baseball.
It scares the living crap out of me. And it's something that's so, yes, Jonathan, you may speak now.
And here's what scares me about Skeens more than anybody else was he was catching every day for his first 2 years at Air Force. Every day he wasn't pitching, he was catching. So that's even more wear and tear on we saw that with Wieters. That's even more wear and tear on the elbow. So the only plus is they'll have Livy in the stands and they'll pan to her every 5 seconds.
Oh my God. You are like
another reason to trade for him.
Yes, that'd be a great reason.
Sold.
I'll even throw in a few dad bod koozies to Pittsburgh if they want to.
Elias, if you're watching, we'll give you koozies just to get Livy in the stands. When we're losing baseball games, but we get to see Livy in the stands.
Oh man, I think we're banned from Mike Elias's podcast listening. Probably my fault, but that's okay. Yeah, like it's something. I'm glad you brought up the Burns thing because it brought a whole nother discussion I wanted to talk about, especially with Jim here. I have 2 things. I do not want to trade multiple position players for pitching unless it's like guys that like we have log jams so that those guys won't be, like the trade for Burns when we gave up Joey Ortiz, fine. If you would have thrown in another position player, fine. But like guys that are ready to come in that they have a future with the team makes me very, very nervous. Number 1. Number 2, this myself, and I'm pretty sure this organization is 100% against giving long contracts to pitchers. But there's a caveat to that, because I'm fine. You want to give $50 million a year to a pitcher for 3 years? Let's do it. Let's freaking do it. You want to do $50 million a year for 4 years? There's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't start considering that. Throw in an opt-out after the first year. Do whatever you got to do. But they're not going to give 6 and 7 years for pitching. And if anyone, like, everyone can complain about it, they're just they're not going to do it.
Well, then
and I'm not so sure that's a bad idea, because look at all these free agent pitchers. There's only one left standing that is actually pretty significant, and it's Fried. And he's, ironically enough, he's the one guy that they said had arm issues last year. But like, Snell's on the injured list. Burns is on the injured list.
Flaherty's pitched well in Detroit.
Oh, Flaherty. Part 2.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
I'm kind of with you, Jason. I'm with you, buddy. I understand it, but at some point, like, you talk about a guy like Skeens. I don't know how many years he has left on his contract. I'm sure it's 3 or 4, right? But like, a guy like that, if you get him here, just somehow you trade for him and you get him here, extend him, pay him. I don't care if you pay him for 10 years. If he goes, you just got to figure that 2 of those years are going to be Tommy John years. And you just got to take the other 8 and just be happy with it, because most of these guys are at least able to come back from Tommy John's. But you got to know going into it that it's a long-term deal, and you got this guy, for 8 instead of 10, or take 2 years off of whatever the deal is, because these guys are going to have that surgery at some point if they haven't had it yet.
So here's Skeens. Skeens signed a 1-year contract for $875,000. This covers his pre-arbitration year. So he'll be arbitration eligible in 2027. They're projecting his contract will be somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 to $700 million.
Yeah, but when is his free agent year?
2027 is when he's eligible for arbitration.
Yeah, but that's not a free agent year.
So then
that's his first year of arbitration.
2029. He's eligible for a free agency in 2029.
Okay.
So that would give you, what, 4 years? Or no, this year and then 3 more years.
And I'm sorry, what was the estimated contract? Did you say $500 million?
$500 to $700 million.
No one is giving $500 to $700 million. Mark my words. You want to talk about wearing a damn dress? I will wear a dress. That man is not getting $500 or $700 million as a pitcher. No one is giving that. Jimmy,
well, not in 2015 or 2025, but who knows? 2029. No, I agree with Frisky. I think Paul Skeens would be beautiful, man. We'd take him on through his rookie contracts and years, and the team would have that fire that they need. I mean, I'd love it. That would be a dream come true. Give them all 3 of those guys that Frisky mentioned. I'd give them more. I'm all about it. Bring in the ace, and all the other pitchers are going to pitch better because he's there. And all the defense is going to play better. It's just nice to have that there. And that's what happened last year with Burnsy. It was nice having that ace to go on the mound that you knew that would get you that win when you needed it the most. And they don't have that this year. This year, they don't have that at all, and they don't have that guy to get them out of their slumps.
But see, they could never do that move the way that they do business right now, because they don't do anything up to this point, they haven't done anything in free agency to be able to supplement that type of move. Because if you're going to get rid of other guys that will be in your plans and they're gone for a pitcher, you have to go out in free agency and bring in guys to replace them, or trade somebody else to get guys. And they haven't proven to do it yet. So until they start doing stuff like that, I'm not too interested in giving up multiple players when you can barely. I mean, look what happened so far this year with all the injuries.
Right. I just think it's a win now mentality there, because Henderson's not going to be here in 2 years or 3 years. Same with Adley. They're not going to be here. Now Scott Boras is their, agent. I want to win now. I don't want to wait, because once we wait, they're gone. Now we're rebuilding again, and it's the same old Orioles that it's always been. I want to win. This is our window, and that's why I was so frustrated last year they did nothing, and frustrated over the offseason they did nothing, because this is our window with our stud players. We need to win now before they're gone. And now what? We have to redo the whole thing. with another GM and more players? Like,
I'm not. I'm not convinced they won't be able to sign Gunnar. Especially, if Gunnar has a bunch of years like he did last year, it'll be very difficult. If he has something in between what he's doing so far now and last year, it'll be a lot easier to potentially sign him
so you're saying
if he wants to be here.
sign him right
They already
now?
tried. They apparently, and nothing was official. They tried to sign him, and they considered it kind of like nowhere near in the park of what it was. So, I don't know if I would blame them for trying. You're like, oh, you're having a down year. Hey, sign this thing. But the only thing, like going back to our discussions last year during the trade deadline and whatnot, one of the things is, and the Tigers were very clear that all the rumors about Scooble and whatnot, it would have taken like the unicorn of all unicorns to get him, like something crazy. But that would be the one guy because he has had Tommy John before, and he has clearly come back from that. A guy like that to me is more intriguing than somebody like Skeens that has thrown about 1 million innings. Like John said, he caught in college too. It makes me nervous.
Do you think in the future they're just going to be like college, get Tommy John, then we'll get you repaired so you can go to the pros and not have to worry about Tommy John?
I don't even know if guys will. The college thing might not happen. I don't know. Like for pitching wise, like I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Inevitable
guys, I think we're probably in the last furlong of our window here. I think if we can't get some pitching now, if we can't get something going in the next year or two, we're not going to be able to hang on to these guys, and the whole window is going to close, and our race is done, and we're going to be back to the poopy years again. So if we can't close the race, you know what? We're going to be in some serious trouble.
John, were you trying to do some sort of corny thing to talk about the Belmont here? Because that
absolutely. Our horses are not keeping up with the pack.
Okay. Well,
hey, before we switch gears, Jason, let's just remind our viewers and our listeners to follow us at Dad Bods Crab Cakes and Sports. Give us a like, give us a shout out. Tell us what you want to talk about. We're here for you. So thanks for listening. Continue to follow us on Facebook at Dad Bods Crab Cakes and Sports, and Instagram and all those other platforms where you can find our podcast.
Yeah, tell me if you like my Oriole pirate hat. Well, it's not really an Oriole pirate hat, but it's a pirate hat that the Oriole players wear after they hit a ding dong. Let me know. I want to know. All right, Jim, you are back, and obviously you're welcome to stay for the whole show. That's what we love. But the real reason you were here was to break down the Belmont Steaks at Saratoga. And I think how many of us picked the winner? John and I picked the winner. Like I said, flip a coin. It's not like, but I actually picked the trifecta, I think, on the show last week, and then I won a couple bucks. But like we discussed, they were all the favorites, and so I paid diddly squat just about, Jim. But tell us about the race. What'd you think?
It did pay diddly squat. It did not. Well, when you have the top four horses finishing 1, 2, 3, 4, that'll happen. But yeah, it played out exactly how I thought it would, except for journalism didn't have the gas at the end, and Sovereignty did. So it's the exact kind of replica of the Derby finish that we saw. I think it was almost the same amount of horse lengths that he beat journalism by, but Sovereignty showed to be the better horse. Must be nice to have a extra 2-week break in there, or just not race the Preakness. I am a little sore about it, if you can't tell. That Sovereignty didn't want to be a Triple Crown horse, and they're just looking to make money here. That's kind of my take on it. It's like, it's smart. If you don't think your horse has a shot at the Preakness, and you can win the Belmont, why not get the extra $3 million, win at the Belmont? I just think it dilutes the sport, and it's bad. It's a bad look, and it's just going to increase the odds that's going to happen more in the future too, which is sad. I don't want to see horses give up on a Triple Crown hope. If you win the Derby, you should have, and I said this before, you should have to race in the Preakness, unless that horse has a chip bone spur or something like that. They should be racing because that's what
Well,
the
I mean,
fans are paying for. That's who cares about the Belmont if there is no Triple Crown race. I mean, I shouldn't say it like that. The Belmont's still a special race, but like it's more special when you have a horse that can compete for the Triple Crown like Sovereignty could have.
well, I mean, you know this more than me, but I mean, it's a business too, right? I mean, these owners and these trainers, they're setting these horses up because it's much better to win two of the three than to win the first one, not win the second one, and then decide not to run the third one because you lost the second one. So now you only won one out of the three, right? I mean, and you're not collecting the purse that you would have if you
Oh
would have won
yeah,
those other
no,
races.
it was definitely a smart move by their office or the trainer and owner because they knew what kind of horse they had. They didn't breed the horse to win the Triple Crown. They bred the horse to win those two races. So
Well,
you know,
yeah, well, let me ask you about that because what I wanted to, with the Preakness being the shortest leg and Sovereignty's style of running, both of these races that he won, he clearly bid his time, came back, and then got it down at the end. Would he not have been? Do you not think that he would have been able to do that in the Preakness with it being a shorter race like that?
he. So these are 3-year-old horses. Most of them, when they get to this point, are just starting to get competitive, and people are just starting to figure out who they are the year leading up to the Derby. I mean, Derby points is what they call it. Throughout the year, starting in November, and they play all these stake races, or they run all these stake races. They have no idea what horse is going to be there until probably like January, February. They start to put it together. But these horses come alive throughout the year. You don't know what kind of horse you have until they're out there on the track sometimes. And you know, it's just interesting is nobody asked the horse, what they feel that day, how they feel that day. It's you don't know. Like my grandfather always used to say, pick the horse that just took the last crap because they're the lightest. Sometimes it works, but what I'm trying to say is like that horse improved tremendously over the course of 2 months before the Derby. I think he could have shown. I mean, that is exactly why they didn't race him in the Preakness is because it's a sprint race, and they didn't think he had enough time to make his last minute push like he's done the last two races.
Would you,
One of
Jim? Would you
Oh, sorry.
liken it to like the? I don't know. I'm trying to find a major sporting event you could liken it to. Is it like the Grand Slam in golf or the Grand Slam in tennis, and you got a player who wins the first two and sits out for the third because the course doesn't meet their golf game, or it's the French Open and they don't play well on clay, so they're not. Is it something like that, or do you think it's just completely different?
I think it's completely different because, like in other sports, you have other athletes. Like I know, like it's like Tiger Woods sitting on the Masters probably is the best thing you could think of, but him doing it just because he felt like he didn't want to do it, not for any other reason. I mean, I just so if Novik, what's his name,
Djokovic.
Djokovic decides he doesn't want to play in the Australian Open, I don't think anybody would care because there's 5 or 6 other you know talented athletes. But a horse of this caliber saying he's just not going to race in one of the Triple Crown jewels, I just think that hurts the sport, and that's just going to cause him to do it more and more. I look at it like there's 6 teams in the major leagues. Like if you looked at the Yankees, and not to get back into baseball, but if you look at the Yankees and Boston game tonight, it was like a playoff game. It was unreal. The vibe in there, just watching the game. I just wanted to watch it just because of how exciting the crowd was on every pitch. And there's 6 markets that have the possibility of doing that, and that's where everybody wants to play. There's a reason why they're continuing to grow and getting the best athletes and can pay them the most money. And it's a 6-team sport. That's what it's turning into. Every once in a while, the Indians make the World Series or the Marlins because they have a great GM that can get them there, but not for long. And then all these bottom feeders like the Orioles are turning out to be just can wish on a star for a chance that maybe they can get there. I mean, that's kind of like it to me. They're just basically doing it because they know they'll get the most money if the best players are in on those teams. So what can get us the most money? That's a selfish thing, I feel, from the owner, from the trainer, that they do with these horses. I mean, he's breeding them to be a one style horse, and that's exactly what Sovereignty is. And when he hits a sprint race, that's not his race. Well, that's not how Triple Crown. That's not how it's done in the past. I mean, if you look at the history of this race, horses never gave up on the Preakness after winning the Derby unless they were hurt. Now it's becoming a trend. It's happening a lot because of the money.
For that month long or whatever it is between the Kentucky Derby and Belmont, whenever there's a chance for a Triple Crown winner, it captivates the nation. Like people that don't want anything to do with horse racing, don't know anything about it. It brings everybody together and brings everything in. And as a sport, they should love that. I mean, they have everybody on the edge of their seat for minute and a half race or whatever it is. Like, it's pretty awesome. So, but again, it goes back to, it's like, I mean, who are we supposed to, if you are a really good trainer and you are like someone who cares, you take care of your animals. And if they ever think it's a detriment to the animal, clearly they're not going to do it, or at least they shouldn't do it.
Well, if that was the case, Secretariat never would have ran the Belmont. Mm-hmm. He never would have. He had a hurt hoof. It was basically like sprained. And they're like, it was a miracle that he was able to do his workout a couple of days before. And they're like, okay, we're just going to keep him in this race because we want to win this Triple Crown. It was different back then than it is now. And, it's sad to me. I mean, I agree with you. Like, I wouldn't run the horse if I felt like, he hurt himself even more, but that would be the only reason, not just because I want to win more money. And I know I can do it in the Belmont.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the last things I wanted to touch on was I listened to a few podcasts regarding the Belmont and what was coming up, and a lot of the same guys kept pointing towards the jockey for journalism as being a detriment to him, and being one of the reasons why he almost lost they didn't say it like, oh, he won the Preakness. He almost lost the Preakness. It was almost disaster. So they didn't think he was strong enough to get that horse through the Belmont. So that's why a lot of them weren't picking him.
Roberto Rispoli, he's probably the second or third ranked jockey in the country, right up there with Flavian Pratt. I mean, I don't see. I think that's preposterous, to be honest. I mean, I don't think it's the jockey's fault. I think he did everything he could. Maybe they went a little early with journalism. I felt like when they were coming around the turn, I was like, oh man, you're pushing him now, because I saw Sovereignty just sitting in the back, like, okay, go now, I'll catch you. But like, I just felt like it was an early push for journalism. But it was kind of exciting having them go to lead at the turn, thinking, all right, just take him down like Secretariat did to all those horses back in the day. I mean, yeah, I think he pushed him a little early.
Well, do you guys have anything else for Jimmy? Any other questions regarding the ponies?
So I don't know, Jim. Is it normal once they end the race for the jockeys or the horses to give each other hugs and kisses? Is that something that's a normal thing? Because that was a little weird I saw at the end of the race.
No, yeah, that was weird. I had to turn off the TV after that. That was,
okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I've never seen that happen before. But I'll look into it and get back to you guys.
Okay, I appreciate it.
I thought I saw the jockeys hugging and kissing the horse, not the other jockey. I saw horse kissing. I did.
That happens a lot. There's a lot of horse kissing.
Oh, the horse love is fine. I'm down with that. I'm down with the horse love.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous. All right. Well, Jim, thank you very, very much for this whole month long. I mean, every show you came on with us has been great talking horse racing. I guess I will go back into like being dormant until until the Kentucky Derby next year, and
I
maybe
will
try
say
to make a
this.
couple more shekels.
I will say this. You guys run a good show here, and I appreciate you having me on. Horse racing is amazing, and if you've never been to the Kentucky Derby, or I know most of you guys been to the Preakness, but if you've never been to the Kentucky Derby, it's put it on your bucket list. Hit up some bourbon trails along your way, but it's an amazing time, and it's there's magic in the air. It feels special. You got celebrities all around you. People are dressed to the nines. There's cocktails being served, gambling being made. It's just an amazing time. So definitely go, put it on your bucket list. I want to go next year. I think I might. So if you guys want to come along, maybe we could do a podcast from actually Kentucky Derby or Churchill Downs.
Oh, that'd be fabulous.
I like the sounds of that.
Down on that.
But for now, let's go into some horse-burnation, like hibernation.
Inspiration. Well,
We gotta get some sponsors to help pay our salaries before that happens, Jimmy.
Oh, all right, I'll get on that too.
Oh, you're not paid, John? Mike and I are getting paid. That's awkward. Mike, all right, never mind. We'll talk later, Mike.
We'll tell them
All right.
later.
So, anyway, on to our next segment.
Guys,
yes, Jim.
I gotta run though, but I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right. No Dad Bod Sports Jeopardy for you tonight, Jim?
No, I gotta go. I have other things I gotta get ready for. But I appreciate it, boys.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. Thanks as always.
Thanks, Jim.
All right. And then there was
I'll put a koozie in the mail to Jim. He earned it this month.
Don't you live not like you guys live not that far?
Yeah, I'll find it. Maybe I'll just slide in his mailbox. I'll drop by one day on the way home from lacrosse or something.
There you go. All right. Are we ready for Dad Bod Sports Jeopardy with our host John? Okay, John, you're on mute again, buddy.
I know. I was typing because I was rewording some of my questions so that you guys would find them a little more clear.
Okay. All right.
So,
well, whenever you're ready, John.
All right. So, after some comments, we're not going to play the music because the music didn't sound very good. So, we're going to play America's favorite trivia show, Dad Bod's Crab Cakes and Sports, Jeopardy. I'm your host, John, and tonight's contestants, Mike and Jason. Mike is a high school PE teacher from Baltimore, Maryland, and Jason Weisbecker is a retired almost grandfather studying for his mortgage exam, and
pirate
resides
He's
in
a pirate.
St. Pete, Florida, or Pinellas Park, Florida.
Oh my gosh, John.
So
well done.
Tonight, our categories to start with are the breakup season, Hall of Fame quarterbacks who changed teams to end their careers. Number 2, dynamic duos and trios. Dads, grandfathers, and sons who played for the same team.
Fabulous.
And
all
then
right.
the last one is gridiron globetrotters.
Wait, we only have 3 categories.
3 categories, right? That's what I said. So first category is the breakup season. The second one is dynamic duos and trios. The third category is gridiron globetrotters. NFL
What happened to
player-
Hall of Fame quarterbacks?
That's the first category. Second category is dynamic duos and trios. Third category is gridiron globetrotters. NFL players who also played in the CFL.
All right.
All right. So
I guess.
yeah, I worked hard on this. All right. So I think Jason.
I am
won
the
last
defending
time.
champion.
So Jason, what would you like?
All right, let's do the breakup season for 100.
This Hall of Fame quarterback won an NFL championship in 1958 and a Super Bowl before finishing his career with the San Diego Chargers.
Jason.
Yes.
Johnny Unitas.
That is correct. I saw Mike's hand go up after Jason raised his and said Jason. Okay. Jason, what would your next category be?
Let's do it for 500.
After winning 4 Super Bowls, this quarterback moved to a team that would not win one for another 27 years.
Jason.
Mike.
Mike had his hand up first.
Okay.
Mike?
Joe Montana.
Yes.
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana was a quarterback, you idiot.
Let's finish that category.
This multi-Super Bowl winning quarterback moved to the New York Giants before winning his final Super Bowl with his 4th and final team.
Say that one more time.
This multi-Super Bowl winning quarterback moved to the New York Giants before winning his final Super Bowl with his 4th and final team.
Oh.
So he played for the Giants and then moved to another team to win a Super Bowl.
That's not what I was thinking, but okay.
You want to do a countdown, John? I guess
Yeah.
we're
5,
I thought he went to the
4,
Giants to win a Super Bowl. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
I can't.
Any guesses?
I don't know if I understand the question.
Yeah, I don't understand the question
Okay.
still.
So I'll rephrase this, and you guys get another timer. This multi-Super Bowl winning quarterback went to the New York Giants before moving to his 4th and final team
Got it. I think I
and
understand.
winning a Super Bowl. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jason, do you have a guess?
I don't.
Kurt Warner.
Oh, that's true.
I
Stupid.
forgot he went to the Giants. As I was doing the research, I was like, I need a guy who there's a confusing clue for 1,000. And Kurt
Oh,
Warner.
you
got
made it
benched.
confusing, all right.
You did your best to
But you
make
wouldn't
that
have-
one
But you
confusing.
wouldn't have gotten it anyway. You would have got it if I had said Cardinals or Rams, I'm sure. But the
I just
Giants.
didn't think I should have known that.
But he got benched in 2003, then got let go, and then went to the Giants for a season, then went to the Cardinals.
Right.
Okay, so
That's
we're
a good one.
back. We're back to Mike.
Okay.
We have dynamic duos or gridiron globetrotters.
Let's go Gridiron Globetrotters for 100.
This quarterback began his professional career with the Edmonton Eskimos in the CFL, leading them to 5 consecutive Grey Cup victories from 1978 to 1982. Later on, he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
But he played in the NFL?
Yes.
Okay.
But this is 100. I'm in trouble.
This is
Yeah.
100.
No kidding.
Um,
You don't have to give any more clues.
No more clues. Just count it down, my friend.
5, 4. He's in the CFL, and now he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 3,
I understand.
2, 1. He's also a celestial body. Warren Moon. Warren Moon. Okay. If I would have said, I should have said the celestial quarterback. That's what I should have said.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about that until after I asked the question. All right, Mike.
Is there a 4th category? Can I have that category that you did again for
Gridiron
for 500?
Globetrotters for 500.
Yeah, let's do that thing.
Before making the NFL Pro Bowl with the Bills in 1998, this quarterback
Jason.
played.
Mike.
Yes. Yes.
Doug Flutie.
Yes. Okay.
I see you, Mike, trying to jump in there.
All right,
I was.
Jason.
Good job.
Jason, what do you want to do?
I'll do it for 1,000, please.
Before becoming a Super Bowl winning quarterback, this player spent 2 seasons with the Toronto Argonauts in the CFL and led his team to victory in Super Bowl 17. It's a led a
That-
team.
That
you can't
just
give
count
more
it.
clues.
17. Yes, Super Bowl 17. I was making sure I did my Roman numerals right.
You can count it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Joe Theismann.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, our score update going into the last category is Jason 600 and Mike 500. Very close.
Okay, you guys should get these ones fairly easily.
I don't even know what the
duos.
category is.
If I can figure out what you're saying, I might have a chance, John.
Dynamic duos, dads and sons who played on the same team. Not
In which
necessarily
sport?
baseball. Not necessarily at the same time. They just played for the same team at some point during their careers.
So
Okay.
what names do we have to give you?
The father and the son.
We have to give you both?
Well, just did the last name.
Okay. Okay.
Just the last name. That's all I need. Okay. So for 100, Jason, or for 1,000? Which
Yeah,
one
100 is fine. No, we'll do
Okay.
100.
This father-son duo both played for the Detroit Tigers, with the father known for his powerful hitting and the son making his own mark as a major league slugger.
Mike,
Yes.
fielder.
Yes.
He played for the Tigers?
Cecil and Prince.
I didn't
Yes.
know Prince played for the Tigers.
Yes, I believe you did.
No,
was a
I don't think he
brewer.
did, actually.
Yeah,
He was
I-
a brewer and,
Yeah.
and a Ranger. Was he a Ranger?
But
Yes,
I knew where it
he
was
played
going.
for the Tigers. Played for the Tigers
Okay.
in 2012 and 2013. Then went
There
to
you
the
go.
Rangers.
All right.
Must have been at the tail end.
Okay. Mike,
500.
This famous father and son pair both played outfield for the Cincinnati Reds.
Mike
Jason.
Mike,
Griffey.
yes. Okay. For over 1,000, we'll end this. This 3-generation family played Major League Baseball across the 1950s, 70s, 80s, and 2000s, with the grandfather as an all-star outfielder in the 50s, his son a 7-time all-star third baseman and manager, and his grandson managing the Cincinnati Reds in 2010. The 2010s, excuse me.
Jason?
Yes.
Might not get to play for 50. The Bells?
Yes. That's correct. Gus, Buddy, and David Bell. Very good, Jason.
Well done, Jay.
I thought that one was might trip you up a little bit.
Oh,
So
man.
now
it
we're on
is
the
1600.
Apparently, it rung a bell with him.
oh my
All right.
gosh, Mike.
It's 1,600 for Jason and 1,100 for Mike.
Oh,
Oh, I don't know how to
All
do
right.
this math stuff. Oh,
All right.
man.
so Final Jeopardy is Purple Past. Former Baltimore Ravens quarterbacks. This. All right, are you ready, Jason?
Hold on. No, not yet.
Okay.
Did you write down your amount yet, Mike?
I did. I'm
So
mathing.
Mike, I had a problem this week. I was gonna go cook some gator up for dinner, and I realized all I had was a crock pot.
Didn't you use that joke last week?
Yes, I used that. I want to see if it was any funnier this time.
No.
Nope. Still not funny, huh?
Oh man, okay. It's funny because I could tell exactly when you're trying to set a joke up. Like it's just there it goes.
All right, I
Jason,
wrote
you
my
ready?
amount down. I'm good.
All right. So this Ravens quarterback played college football at New Mexico State, had several years in the NFL as a backup, and later played in the Arena League. This Ravens quarterback played college football at New Mexico State and had several years in the NFL as a backup and later played in the Arena League.
That's not a lot of information.
I'm sorry, it's a hard question. So, New Mexico State, NFL as a backup, and Arena League football.
And he was never a starter.
He started several. He started several games, but he played his entire career as a backup and a spot starter. Like every other backup in the NFL. All right, we need an answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And all right, you guys have your answers? Mike?
Yeah, but it's not good.
I mean, I have two guesses. I have two guesses.
This is a hard one.
What did you risk, Mike?
Let's see.
I
your
risked
board,
everything.
Mike. Let's
I
see,
risked
Mike.
1,100. I don't have the answer though. I'm down between two, but I wrote down Eric Zaire.
No, incorrect.
I risked 700.
Okay.
And I don't even know if this guy was a quarterback, and I just wrote a last name down.
Yes.
Richardson was my answer.
Well, I said this was a hard one.
My other guess was what's that other guy? Was it Stoney Case? Was the other guy I was thinking of?
It was Stoney Case.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
I told you it was a hard one, Mike.
Dadgummit.
I said it was a hard one.
Mandy Pandy Mother Bear.
Attaboy. Oh, I am the 2-time defending champion. I'm like the Jennings of sports trivia Jeopardy.
Wow.
This is fabulous.
Good
Mike, you get the
job.
host next week. Look at you.
Sweet.
Maybe these questions would be a little yeesh. Good job, John. Way to confuse us.
I thought they were a little harder because some of them were pretty easy. Yeah, we needed a little challenge this week.
No, they're good. So I did think Jim was going to be with us because we were going to talk about a move made in the the AFC North, which affects both us Ravens fans and the Browns fans like Jim. But Aaron Rodgers officially signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I guess was the worst kept secret in all of football. Does not move the needle for me very much, Mike. I'm not so sure how you feel about it.
I mean, I think it's obviously an upgrade from whatever Pittsburgh was going to go into the season with this year. Number one, who was going to start the season there? Was it going to be Mason Rudolph, and then eventually maybe Will Howard gets a chance, and kind of didn't know how that was going to end up. So at least you get a veteran starter who, a few years ago, he's like 3-4 years removed from an NFL MVP season. Now, with that being said, Aaron Rodgers is known for slinging it around a little bit, but also being pretty accurate. Like, I'm looking at his career numbers. He threw in the single digits in interceptions for the most of his career. But, last year he had 12 interceptions, which is, numbers are up a little bit. And I think that just speaks to the fact that he's not quite as mobile as he used to be, maybe not quite as accurate as he used to be, or might not be quite as strong as it used to be, which can lead to some more mistakes. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you have such a strong defense. You just need somebody who can manage the game and not turn the ball over. So I think that's the biggest thing they need to task Aaron Rodgers with, which might mean that he needs to change his games just slightly to make sure that he maintains possession of the football. And, I was beating on the Kirk Cousins drum, all off season long. But as I looked more into his numbers, like he has turned the ball over a whole lot. He had like 16 interceptions last year. So maybe Pittsburgh made the right move here. What do you guys think, John?
Yeah, I think they made the really only move that they could, because from what I read, there's just nothing they could give up to get Cousins. They weren't gonna give up what the Falcons would have wanted for Cousins. But I think you're very right in saying that they just need a game manager. They need a guy who won't turn. They need a Trent Dilfer type player. They need a guy who won't turn the ball over. They need somebody who will find the open receiver, is an accurate passer, and is going to let the defense do their thing. And I think that's what you're going to get with Aaron Rodgers at this stage in his career. You're not going to get Aaron Rodgers from, the Super Bowl that he played against the Steelers, back in 2010 or 2011. You're getting Aaron Rodgers, kind of the Brett Favre and the Minnesota Vikings type guy, So, and he's got targets to throw to. You got DK, you got Freiermuth, you got some guys who can do some things on offense with the ball in their hands. But I think they just really needed somebody to be in that quarterback room, and I think I don't have anything to back this up, but I think watching Will Howard, I think, a year or two down the road with a little bit of guidance, he could be their guy. And Aaron Rodgers, doesn't want to help him, but, it will help him for sure.
Yeah, I know the Will Howard comp is a little bit towards like the Big Ben type player. So that's, I think, why they were enamored there. But so just to address the Cousins situation, I just don't think they could make it wasn't necessarily just a trade, it's the contract. I don't think they could make any of that get figured out because it's a guaranteed contract, which is an insane amount of money. And I don't know how that would have worked with Atlanta with trying to figure that out. But I would also say, like, at this point, I see Kirk Cousins playing some football games this year with the Falcons. Just it's hard for quarterbacks to stay healthy. Or if Penix has an issue, well, maybe all of a sudden Cousins steps back in. Just something tells me he's going to end up playing quarterback for the Falcons this year. And as far as Aaron Rodgers goes, I mean, John, he's a glorified game manager at this point. But what do you get though? Do you get the glorified game manager like a Trent Dilfer, who's very humble and a good leader? Or do you have I have to have this guy on my team? Why don't you trade for this guy? I want you to bring this offensive coordinator in, because the Steelers don't deal with any of that. They're a very good organization that does not deal well with players thinking they're going to run the show. Why do you think George Pickens is in Dallas? So why do you think Brown got traded years ago? Mike Wallace got traded. When guys get too big for their britches in their mind, they get shipped off. So I don't know how things are going to go here. I'm actually the best quarterback they could have had, I think, signed with the Jets because they didn't think that Fields was good enough. And I think they gave up way too soon for him. But I also don't know if that is the right system for a guy like Justin Fields. So as far as Rodgers goes, Mike, again, same thing I said. It doesn't really move the needle for me, but it is an upgrade over what they had last year with the way they were using things.
I mean, even if you think about the fact that he's been there and done it, right? He's won a Super Bowl. He's been NFL MVP. The moment won't be too big as far as mentally for him. That's big for Pittsburgh at this point, especially relative to what else they have in their quarterback room. Now, with that being said, this is a short-term answer. This is not a long-term answer. And I think you have Steelers fans who understand that, everyone wants to win this year. But just down the road, I know you think Will Howard might be that, but that's a 5th or 6th round pick that they spent on Will Howard? I don't know that the answer is in their quarterback room for the future, which is kind of a concern. But, with the core players they have with Metcalf, being in the prime of his career, Watt being in the prime of his career, they've got to do something to try to push over the just making the playoff hump. I'm not sure Aaron doesn't get them anywhere. They maybe make the playoffs and win a game, but he nowhere near competes with the Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow type quarterbacks who are younger and in their prime. So, to me, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a good signing probably for Pittsburgh, but I don't think it's a Super Bowl signing.
I mean, they're anywhere from a 9 to 11 win team, probably 9 or 10, if I'm being honest. But every time I try to sleep on the Steelers, they end up doing well. But I mean, they played well last year for the first half of the season, and then they kind of came back down to earth a little bit. But I mean, I don't know what to expect. The defense is pretty solid. You're right, Mike. Their quarterback of the future is not on that team right now. I mean, I was just stating what some of their writers are saying about Howard. I don't believe that. Last year was not the quarterback year. So he's a no-risk, high-reward pick as far as I'm concerned, right? So next year, but see, the thing with the Steelers is if they ever want to get a really good quarterback in the draft, they don't pick towards the top of the draft because they're always a competitive team. So, John, they're kind of in the same way the Ravens are. The last time we picked in the top 5 of a draft, I think, was when we got Ronnie Stanley. And we don't do it very often, and neither do they.
Well, and I think you look at the ownership group; they've been there since 1933. So they know what they're doing. That organization is run, in a certain way, and it's not going to differentiate from the way that it's being run. I think what they draft Big Ben 13th overall, I think was that 2003? Was he, or was he 2004? I think they drafted him 13th overall, I think in 2004. So, that's going to be kind of, I think what they're going to have to end up doing is either figuring out, okay, we can take a guy, in the teens and make him into a serviceable quarterback, or we're going to have to either suck or we're going to have to figure out a way to trade up and trade guys out, but I think you guys you hit the nail on the head, as you do most of these analysis, is their quarterback future is not in the room, but could they have a serviceable guy in the room in Will Howard for a year or two, potentially, but they don't have a franchise guy on that roster.
I mean, it's got to be frustrating though, as a Steeler fan. I mean, I don't feel for them, but it's I just don't think they're not the scariest team in the division for me. I mean, I don't think the Bengals are going to be a good team this year, but when we play each other, it scares the crap out of me because it's so tough to match up with those guys. That's my biggest hurdle.
Yeah, so the one thing I would add that works in Pittsburgh's favor is their schedule. If you look at their schedule, it's not super difficult. So I mean, they are at the Jets, Seattle at home, at New England to start. Then they play Minnesota, Cleveland at home, should be another win. At Cincinnati, they get Green Bay, Indy at home, at Chicago. They play Miami at home later in the season. They play Cleveland again. It's like they have a lot of very winnable games on their schedule. So, like you said, Jason, I mean, 10 wins is kind of easy to see with this team. But what does that mean come playoff time if they haven't really been tested? So, yeah, I could see them sneaking into the playoffs with a real quarterback now.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking with how things go. I mean, but it also depends on the rest of the league and what other teams are. I mean, even within the division, like I'm ready to write off the Browns for this year, but you never know. And anytime you play within your division, it doesn't matter what your records are. So, one of our final segment tonight. Oh yeah, John, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did you see Chubb? Chubb just signed with the Texans, according to reports.
Oh, that's interesting. That really changes freaking rookie drafts and fantasy. I was real big on taking that young guy, the Marks guy or whatever, and now Chubb signs are. Oh, that's just great.
That's reports. I didn't get it confirmed with anybody, but the reports on X were saying that he was going to Texas.
And here I was, Jason, thinking you were worried about the Ravens and the Texans in the playoffs, and you're worried about your fantasy football team.
So the one team that does not scare me out of all these is the Houston Texans, just because they haven't done it yet. Like they have to prove that they can win some multiple playoff games, and they've had some decent seasons so far, but I mean they can't seem to get rid of the injury bug in their wide receiver room. So hopefully the guys they have now will work out for them. But no, I mean, look, like fantasy or reality here, Chubb and Mixon, good for both of them. Keep them both fresh and run them both. I mean, that could be that could work out in their favor pretty good. And then also take all the pressure off their quarterback and their receivers and start opening things up all over the field. So not a bad move, because I think Chubb last year was okay. He just came off his injury. But I have a feeling he's got at least one more good season in him. Now, I'm not saying an elite season, but he's got one more good season in him.
Yeah, they're saying 1-year deal with the Texans. I just found it on ESPN too. So,
do you have his age?
I believe he is. Is he 30? Is he 30?
He's a young 30 if he's 30.
He's 29. December 27th, 1995.
And he missed a whole season. That's actually not a bad thing because you don't get hit.
The mileage.
And he missed a year at Georgia too, didn't he, with a knee injury?
He did.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So he doesn't have a ton of mileage on him.
My biggest thing is that I'm just glad he didn't sign in Kansas City or in Buffalo or in Cincinnati. That's scary. But yeah, I mean, it might be, Jason, you make some great points. And the fact, John, like you said, with a little bit less mileage and the age, might be a nice under the radar signing there for Houston.
Yeah, I mean, you have two running backs that run for what? But like 800 and 1,000 between them, or 900 and 800. Now, again, we have to see how things. I mean, we have a long way to go before the season starts, practice wise. So we'll see. What's the last thing? Oh, no, not our last segment here, but we're getting closer. One of the things I wanted to do tonight was our top 2 all-time athletes in the NBA, Major League Baseball, and the NFL. The caveat is you had to see this player play in person. So the greatest athlete of your time, obviously, of our time, in that particular sport, but you would have had to see him play. So we can do that. We'll do Major League Baseball first. When we get the NFL, if you guys want to do offense, defense, or 2 offense, I mean, it's whatever. I don't care. But as far as Major League Baseball, John, did you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think the greatest player I ever saw was Ken Griffey. I think the way that if he would have stayed healthy, if he wouldn't have had these hamstring injuries when he was in Cincinnati, I mean, he probably would have broken the home run record. But just in fielders, he was the greatest overall athlete I think I've ever seen take the baseball field. And then
You get another one.
And then pitcher, I mean, that's hard. I was going to go with like a fielder and a pitcher. I mean, Mariano Rivera was one of the greatest pitchers to ever, but I also saw Roger Clemens. I also saw Randy Johnson. I also saw, Mike Mussina, all these guys, but I think, Mariano Rivera did it for so long with one pitch. And that was, one of the greatest I ever saw play.
Mike?
Well, I didn't realize we were going to go sport for sport, but I think that's awesome. So, but I would say number one, if I had seen Barry Bonds, he would be on my list. I cannot remember seeing him live and in person, just because he was in the National League and there wasn't a ton of interleague when it started. But Mike Trout comes to mind. I remember seeing him rob a home run over center field in a game I was at, and I was like, holy crap, that guy is just a stud. So as far as field player comes to mind, Mike Trout's the guy for me. If we're talking about starting pitching, Mussina, obviously, like you said, John, is one that stands out. And then Roger Clemens is the other guy I was thinking. Just ridiculously good.
Ugh. I did see Barry Bonds play. There was an interleague series. I want to say like 2002 or 3 when the Giants came to Camden Yards and he played here, because there was a big thing about them talking about him hitting the warehouse, and I got to see him play in a game. I still think one of the best baseball players of all time, hands down. Griffey's up there for me, but Griffey never had 3,000 base hits, like 2,700 hits, ton of home runs. But Barry Bonds to me, probably the best. Pitching wise, oh Lord, I don't know. Pedro. Pedro, Roger Clemens, Nolan Ryan. I don't think I ever saw Greg Maddux. But that would be the greatest pitcher of all time if I did. I don't think I did. But yeah, Mussina as well. John, are you smirking for some reason?
Yeah, well, Jason, I have the stats from when Bonds played at Camden Yards. He depending on what game you went to,
I think it was a Friday night game.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know what day of the week.
I don't remember.
But it was in 2002 or 2004. In one game, he walked 5 times. In one game, he walked 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 home runs in his 6 career games at Camden Yards. 10 walks in 6 career games at Camden Yards.
Yep. It's something else, man.
That's something else. Yeah.
Okay. NFL. Mike, did you want to start this time?
Oh, Lamar Jackson is the best player I've ever seen. And I'm trying to think about when I saw him play. Obviously, I haven't gone to as many games. You and I used to go all the time when they had that great defense, but the quarterback was always a question mark. Last year, I saw Cincinnati at home, and just seeing him sling the ball around, that comeback win was pretty amazing. So, Lamar by far to me. Offensively, defensively, Ray Lewis, just the best to ever do it. Middle linebacker. Ed Reed would be my honorable mention, but but Ed and Ray, I'm staying Homer there.
Yeah, and it's funny because like quarterback wise, like I saw Peyton play. I did not see John Elway play, but saw Dan Marino. They came here when we were at Memorial Stadium. Dan Marino. I put Peyton above Marino. Tom Brady. So Tom Brady a couple times. Oh, this is a tough one. Lamar is good. He just wasn't one of the guys that came to mind. I would have to say Peyton Manning. But just because he gave me put the fear of God in me anytime we played him. Defensive wise, Ray Lewis was mine too, but I'm thinking Deion Sanders. I'm thinking obviously Ed Reed. Never saw Lawrence Taylor, obviously. But yeah, those would be probably the three I come up with. What about you, John?
So, obviously, Lamar is probably at the top, but then I would say offensively, Adrian Peterson, what he was in his prime in Minnesota. I went to several games, and just what he did with the ball in his hands and how they would bring 4 or 5 guys to where they thought the hole was going to be to try to stop him. And he'd still figure out a way to get through. And then defensively, of course, Ed Reed. Ed Reed was probably one of the greatest overall defensive players. Like what Belichick say, he was the guy you had to game plan for. He said, "You game plan for Ray Lewis. You game plan for Ed Reed because he'd be everywhere on the field and pick the ball off." But I saw him, and then you see, like in Minnesota. When I was in Minnesota, I saw a bunch of different guys. But I think you got to go with the homer pick. That the Ed Reed or the Ray Lewis, I think, are the two that I saw play who are probably the greatest of all time.
And then for the NBA, I've only been to a handful of NBA games, and Michael Jordan, obviously the greatest of all times. Saw him when he played for the Wizards. I saw him when he was on the Bulls and he came and played the Bullets. And then Kobe Bryant. I saw him when he played Michael Jordan and the Wizards when the Lakers came. So for me, I don't really have a whole lot of context on that other than those are the two greatest players I've ever seen play. What about you, Mike?
I saw Michael Jordan play when he went to Washington at the very end. I only went to one game. So Michael Jordan, and my second person would be whoever else played in that game who was good. I can't really remember. But no,
Kwame Brown.
Yeah, Kwame Brown. Oh my gosh. He would not be the guy. He would not be the guy. Maybe Gilbert Arenas. I'm pretty sure I've seen him play live. I think I maybe been to one other game, possibly. But otherwise, I got to go Maryland Terps, and that's not even NBA. So
that's okay. What about you, John?
I sat 2 rows up when the Timberwolves were playing against the Cavs, and LeBron and Shaq were both on that team.
Oh, boy.
And just the size and the athletic ability of 2 guys that big. Shaq's 7'1", 300-something pounds. LeBron 6'8", 200. Just I'll take Jordan all day long over LeBron, but they're doing in person. I've never seen Jordan play in person. I've seen LeBron play in person, and there's nothing like that. Nothing like that athletic ability with a human being that size.
Awesome. Good segment, guys. And for those of you listening, if you want to tell us on our Facebook page who your favorite, or not favorite, but the best, greatest athlete of all time that you saw in person for these different sports, baseball, basketball, and football, just put it on our Facebook page. All right, fellas. So no blast from the past this week. We're going to take a break from that. But what we did get some information from a listener on some picks that they would like us to make each week. So we're going to do what the Orioles record is going to be over these next 2 series, what we think it's going to be, and then we'll check in again next Sunday to see what it was. But we need to wager something. And we don't have to do money, but we have to do something.
That's good because I don't have any money.
Ooh. Yeah, me either.
Didn't you just give us a whole speech about how you're making more money, so you need to do tax help? So you asked John,
koozies.
of all people.
I spent it all on koozies.
I forgot to tell you the best tax
Mike.
advice. The best tax advice would be to buy a F-150 Lightning and take the $750, tax write-off.
Oh God! Please don't do that.
Stop
Mike.
trying to sell your cars to me, John, just because you got a raise.
Don't
God
buy an
bless
electric
us.
vehicle. It's like a giant golf cart. Okay.
Oh, it's amazing. Oh man, you touch the gas and you're
Oh my God.
to the races.
Mike, when the apocalypse comes, you will not be safe because there will be no electricity. So you do not need that.
You're gonna get eaten by a zombie, John. I'm just telling you.
All right. So Orioles play the Tigers and the Angels. That is a 6-game series. John, do you have a prediction on what the Orioles record will be out of those 6 games? And I'll write these
Yes.
down.
I think we're gonna go. I think we're gonna split it 3-3. I think we're gonna win one against the Tigers. I think we're gonna win that first game against Gibson Long, and then I think we'll take 2 or 3 from the Angels.
Mike, what do you think?
I think we'll go 4-2 over the series. I like you said, John, game 1 against Detroit. And then I think we win one of the 2 against Mize and Scooble. My guess is more likely the Wednesday game versus Mize. Scooble's just so dominant. And then I think with the Angels, they win 2 of 3. And then if the other thing is, there's a chance they could sweep that Angels team. I know Trout's kind of hot, but they could sweep that Angels team, and that would give them the opportunity to lose 2 if they don't play well versus Detroit.
Well, guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I am going to say they will be 2-4 after this week. I do think they get swept by the Tigers. I think that you might be sleeping on Gibson Long. He was a very highly touted prospect for them, and then he got hurt right away, missed all of last year and whatnot. But they are very high on him. It's why they just put him right into that rotation spot as well. I want to say that they'll sweep the Angels, but I think they take 2 of 3. So 2 of 4, not a very good homestand. I am hoping you're right, Mike. John, I will take your 3-3. But we need a bet. I don't know. I was thinking like the losers have to, at the end of every time we speak next week, have to say meow. But I don't know.
Super Trooper style.
Yeah.
I love it. Reverse.
So if anyone's listening, if you guys want
We
to
need
come
an
up with
idea.
that we can bet on, do something. How about Donovan? Donovan, this is your game. You got to come up with a better thing other than trying to. He said, like, what did he say? The whole show eat double stuffed Oreos. Like that might work for John and you, but that will literally kill me.
They don't call it livabetes.
Livabetes.
God, it's terrible.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, maybe we could come up with something to make it fun. But I just did the Orioles because I wasn't sure if we wanted to do the NBA or if we wanted to do the NHL.
Well,
I don't know how many
Thunder
games
won. Thunder won tonight, and I don't. When do they play again? I don't think they play until Wednesday.
I think that might have been the only game Indiana gets. Shh, don't tell anyone.
Yeah, and hockey they play tomorrow night. I think they play tomorrow night, they play Tuesday night and Friday night.
Hockey has been awesome. Have you watched any of those games?
Yeah, that was awesome. Double overtime.
I'm telling you, dude, this could be the best 2 teams in a finals in a decade. Like it's an excellent matchup.
Well, John, look this up real quick. Look up.
Yeah.
So how many games are there in the NHL between now and next Sunday?
There's 3.
3.
Monday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Guaranteed games, right? They have to happen. Regardless.
Absolutely. Yes, because it's 1-1. You have to win 4.
And in the NBA?
1 + 3 is 4. Let me see here. Schedule. So they just played tonight. They'll play Wednesday and Friday.
Okay. All right. So let's pick the NBA and then let's pick the NHL. John, do you want to pick the NBA?
I'll pick the NBA. I think I'm going to go. The Thunder are just going to sweep the rest of the series. They gave the first one up, but I don't think they're going to give another one up. It'll be done on Friday.
Mike,
is it a 2-2-1-1-1 or is it a 2-3-2 in the NBA?
The one. Let's see. Let me pull this up.
Yeah, that's a good question, Mike. It used to be.
Okay, so they played at Oklahoma City tonight. Then they're playing both in Indiana. And then I don't see the remaining. Let me see.
Well, that's okay. It's only for next week, though.
Okay.
So they're
I
both
think they
in-
split.
Yep. Then they go Oklahoma City. Then they go Indiana.
You think they split,
Yeah,
Mike?
I think they split the next two. It sucks because I went to put a bet in on Oklahoma City. They were, I think, 7.5-point favorites after just the first half, and I thought they would cover that number easily. And I think they were up by 15 or something at halftime. So I'm kicking myself for not.
They won by 16.
Okay, but at halftime, I think they were up 15. That's when the bet would have been 4, and I'm like, gosh, I should have done it because I knew they were going to come back and kind of avenge that loss. But I do think Indiana gives them a fight, so I'm going to say they split because I picked Indiana to win the series.
Okay. And I'm going to go 2-0 here for the Thunder. And quick question here. So I'm assuming we want to hit these exactly for the Orioles. So if like they go 0-6, nobody wins, right? Or loses. Although we all lose because it'll make me want to end my own existence.
I'll be crying, but yes,
Right.
nobody loses.
All right.
Or if they
And
go
the
6-0,
NHL.
or if they go 6, I'm going to say they'll go 6-0 and nobody will win.
I will gladly take the loss.
Or 5-1.
5-1 would be great.
Absolutely.
4-2 even is great too.
I
All
will
right.
meow all over the place.
Yeah, you will. All right. Last category. So the NHL. 3 games. What do you think, John?
I think that we're going to Florida, and I think they're gonna split them in Florida. So the Panthers will win 1. Then I think Edmonton will win the second one, and then Edmonton will win the third one at home. So I think I think the series is going to be 3-2 by the time we're on the air next Sunday.
Okay. So you have Edmonton going 2-1
Yeah.
this week. And what about you, Mike?
Yeah, I have the same idea. I think they're going to go 2-1. Florida's going to win probably the next one, and then Edmonton will win the next 2.
Got it. All right. I'm going to go 2-1 as well, but I'm going with Florida to make things interesting, fun, and exciting. And because I'm wearing a pirate hat. So
And you live there, Homer. No, I'm kidding.
I do. Oh my gosh. See, I can't name one player on the Panthers. That's the thing. Like hockey is just not my thing.
Bobrovsky.
Wait, who's Alexander Barkov play for? Because that's my favorite.
Barkov, yes.
Center.
Florida.
He's the center for Florida.
Perfect. I'm going with Florida. That works out perfectly because that's the dog's name.
Woof woof.
So excellent. All right. Well, again, thank you all for joining us tonight. Like always, please reach out to us. Let us know if there's anything you want us to do. Say, you want John to do? Oh, that's what we could do. Jumping jacks the whole show, John. You have to do calisthenics if you lose. Something along those lines. I don't know. We'll come up with something.
Something. I think we should do that. That something like a water fast or something.
Oh, I don't know. Mike's kind of against the crazy.
Hey, I'll do what I have to do.
I do need to shed a few. I do need to shed a few pounds. I had to go shopping today for some dress shirts for my new job.
Made you cry.
It made me really cry.
Oh, that happens.
Because my arms. Right. Yeah, whatever.
No, your arms. What, John? Yeah, your arms are.
My arms, like my shoulders and my arms, were too big for the shirts that fit my neck, and my neck was too big for the shirts that fit my arms and things. So I had to get like a tablecloth and stitch my shirt together myself.
Oh wow. I really thought you were gonna say you have like the T-Rex, like big head, little arms situation going on.
I have big arms and a big head, so
fabulous. All right, Mike. You wanna send us off with some fun and exciting stuff?
Yes, sir, Mr. Pirate. That's gonna do it for this episode of Dad Bods, Crab Cakes and Sports. Thanks for listening with us this evening. Don't forget to subscribe, please, on Red Circle, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And while you're at it, remember to leave us a review. It really helps us out. We're trying to spread that good word about Baltimore sports far and wide. Be sure to follow us on social media for more behind-the-scenes action, memes, and bad sports takes. You can find us at dadbods_crabcakes_sports on Instagram and at dadbods crab cakes and sports on our Facebook page. If you have a question or a topic you'd like us to cover, maybe an idea of what we should do with our bet, hit us up. You never know. We just might shout you out in our next episode. But until next time, Keep rocking those dad bods, eating those crab cakes, and never miss the game.
Adios.